want to go back to the phone lines. We'll talk to Mary, St. Louis, Missouri, Bot Radio. Hi, Mary.
Hi. Hey, I've been reading a Bible. It's called the Daily Bible, and it does Old Testament and New Testament each day. And the more I read about the Old Testament, I'm having a real puzzlement as far as, because it seems to me like God was a very angry God in the Old Testament, and he was quick to anger more than passionate. And then when you see Jesus, it's like a total 360, and it's really it's kind of perplexing me because it's like two different gods. I hate to say that, but I mean, I believe in Jesus Christ, and when I read the old Bible, it's like, surely this can't be the same God.
Well, I can assure you, Mary, that it is. And let me quote to you what Jesus said in Matthew 23, when he was talking to the teachers of the law and the Pharisees. He called them hypocrites. He said, "You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside you are full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, and then the outside will also be clean. Woe to you, teachers of the law, Pharisees, you hypocrites! You're like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, full of dead men's bones and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside, you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside, you are full of hypocrisy and full of wickedness. Woe to you, teachers of the law, Pharisees, you hypocrites! You build tombs for the prophets, and you decorate the graves of the righteous, and you say, if we had lived in the days of our forefathers, we would not have taken part in shedding the blood of the prophets. So you testify against yourself that you are the descendants of those who murdered the prophets. Fill up then the measure of the sin of your forefathers, you snakes, you brood of vipers. How will you escape being condemned to hell?" Now, the reason I quote that in part is simply to disavow the notion that somehow or other Jesus is meek and mild. No, Jesus had righteous indignation against sin and those who would lead people astray into the abyss, those who would take children and rob them of their faith, those who would prey on the weak, those who loved their traditions more than they loved God. So Jesus, who is God, is the self-same God that we have in the Old Testament, whose eyes are too pure to look on evil, who cannot tolerate wrong. Furthermore, let me say this. If you want to find the most violent, brutal act in all of the Bible, you don't find it in the Old Testament. You find it in the New Testament, where you have the sinless Son of God who suffers more than any human being, more than the cumulative sufferings of all of humankind, so that we might be redeemed not only in time, but also for all eternity. Now, what I'm saying in essence is the God of both Old and New Testament is not schizophrenic, is absolutely the same God, but we have to recognize that the love of God demonstrated in the Old and New Testament is counterbalanced by the justice of God. So when someone says, my God is a God of love, their God may be a God of love, but in that case is only a figment of their fertile imagination. The God of the Bible is a God of both love and justice. And in the Bible, we see a reconciliation of that love and justice, and ultimately we see that in the person and work of Jesus Christ.